All right, everybody, welcome today to another COVID questions. I'm Ryan Bohm, Tanner Dance. We're the founders of Core Capital Wealth Management, and we're lucky enough today to have Corey Christiansen on with us, one of my good buddies. If you don't know Corey, he's a Grammy-nominated artist, as well as the head of the guitar department at Utah State University. And so thanks, Corey, again for being on today. Check him out, CoreyChristiansen.com. Unbelievable artist, honestly. But so Corey, I mean, the last couple months has got to have been crazy for you between teaching, performing. I mean, your whole world got thrown upside down with this COVID.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Well, I mean, so there's probably like three main umbrellas of my business and I guess my brand. But so I have the performing aspect, and then I have the university, teaching position. But I also have this kind of third umbrella where I do a lot of freelance teaching, right? So when I'm on the road, I don't just perform. I do a lot of workshops and master classes, as well as I kind of have some other programs that I deal with. So I'm kind of managing like these three umbrellas, at all time. And so two of them really got rocked in the sense of, in different ways. My performing career, like the president gave his talk about, COVID on, I think it was a Wednesday night, and I was supposed to fly to Tampa to start a tour on Thursday. And as soon as his talk finished, literally my email inbox sounded like a pinball machine. It was just ding, 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 ding. And literally every tour that I had from now until, from then until August, like within 24 hours, it just shut down. And so that was one aspect that really got impacted. But, I didn't really stress about it that much because, the university thing was they also closed down the campus and the classes, but it was okay. We just moved all of our teaching to online and we were fine. And I was kind of fortunate, maybe more so than some of my other friends, because since about 2007, 2008, I've kind of been like on the forefront of pioneering music education online. And I have three different, or have had three different companies. I have two now that, not necessarily that I own, but I have stake in, shares in that. We're already totally prepared to do online teaching.
Do you feel like this is something that might change your business forever, might change the education system forever? I mean, is this something that could, kind of threaten the brick and mortar style? I mean, what do you envision?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I don't think it's ever going to threaten the brick and mortar 100%. I think that we're still human, and if and when things get back to whatever the new normal is, the brick and mortar will still be part of that that equation for somebody like me. There's in the arts, there really is nothing like being in the room. As an educator, there's nothing like being in the room. As a performer, there's nothing like being in the room. I mean, it's like you watch a big, a concert on, online. Yeah, okay, whatever, it's cool. But there's something about being in the room and feeling the air move, that's a different experience. And so I don't think it's ever going to totally go away. But the dynamic has shifted. I'll tell you one thing, though, that I've had to be aware of is that in 2009, when I started, my first online company, a lot of people told me like, you're nuts. This is never going to work. Like, music and the arts is like going to be the hardest thing to teach online, and, blah, 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 blah. Now, all those same people have realized, oh my gosh, I've got to get in the game. So when I didn't have any competition really, 2009, not the same level of competition anyway. I mean, there's a few people that were doing it. There were some offerings, but not like now. Now everybody's in the game.
All of this, I mean, your life gets thrown upside down. All of our lives get thrown upside down. But I mean, is that kind of what you would categorize as some type of silver lining with this?
Yeah, I think that's one of them. I think for me, and I'm not sure that it's going to stay this way, but the silver lining for me is that right now, there are big artists that have had a lot of the, and I should back up, there's a couple of things. One thing, music is right now becoming more tribal, which is what I think it was always intended to be anyway, right? I mean, it's becoming like a family thing, you know, like if you want to make music, you got to do it with your family, you know, or some really close friends, you know, and maybe distance yourself. But like, you know, like right now, it's kind of like you have your little tribe.
Like about this close, like we are?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Did you guys have your temperature checked before you started this meeting? Yeah, and so there is a little bit of the celebrityness of music that has kind of been, I think, kind of knocked down a little bit. You know, like an artist, and I'm not going to say any names because, you know, I don't want to offend anybody, but like, to be honest, there's a lot of artists, you know, over the last 40 years who have relied on production or a production team to make them what they are. You know, prior to let's say 60, like you could either had the goods or you didn't have the goods. There was really not a team of people that, like, you know, put somebody forward and is like, we will make you appear to be this certain thing, right? Well, guess what? Nobody right now for the last 6 weeks has had a team of people to make them look great. The people that are really doing stuff like online are doing it like totally DIY in the sense that, you know, they're probably running things from, you know, with just a couple helpers at the most. And you can either throw down or you can't. Like there's no literal smoke and mirrors or pyrotechnics that are like selling a show right now. Like if you want to enjoy in the moment art in an online way, it has very little to do with production right now. So I love that, right? Because now what's happening is like the tribalism of music is coming back, which I think is really important. I think it's really great that, you know, like people, and just the arts in general, that people are like, wow, this is an important part of my life. If I want to enjoy it in a real-time kind of way, I have to do it with my family, you know, or I have to do it with my close friends. I think that's a beautiful thing. I also think, though, that if people want to celebrate virtuosity, like if they want to like really experience greatness, that is worth something, right? That's something that needs to be, you know, one, recognized, and two, you know, monetized. And so I think that the silver lining could be that people are going to start to recognize who really is great, or forget who, what is really great. And there's not a right answer or a wrong answer there, right? But I think maybe the silver lining is people are going to start being really conscious about like those choices that they're going to make.
Yeah. And, you know, I think in our practice, we've seen, as we've talked with people, business owners, et cetera, we've seen that. I mean, it appears like there's kind of a transition where this has given people an opportunity to reevaluate, to sharpen the saw, to, you know, whatever analogy you want to call it, but basically go back to square one, figure out what they really do well. And, you know, those companies that survive, those companies that move on, they're going to be better for this.
Well, and that makes sense too. I mean, you know, this whole COVID thing has made us so that we've had to stay indoors and not hang out with our family and friends, and it's been really hard. But
right,
you know, so it's really made us, you know, focus on, like, who do we want to hang out with, who do we want to spend time with, who makes us happy, and then you know, on the business front, you're naturally going to have more success if you're happier, if you're spending time with people you like, and you're doing what you love. So it goes hand in hand. And again, I think it's been a silver lining, if you will, of helping us, you know, remember our priorities and
totally
who we like to spend time with, what we like to do, and what's most important in our lives right now.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be true with any business. You know, I mean, you think about it, it's like, you know, and I tell my students this all the time, you know, at the university. I'm like, look, okay, first of all, you got to be good at what you do, right? Mm-hmm. You know, second of all, you got to show up on time, right? Like you got to show up on time. You know, the third thing is you got to be a good hang. Like people, like it's the soft skills, right? The fourth thing is you got to wear the right threads. You know, like you always got to like wear the right clothes. And then I've added this fifth thing that I talk to them about now, which is you have to be adaptable, right? And if I look at any business and, you know, the friends that I've got, and you know, in the guitar world, I mean, I have friends that are, you know, like brilliant musicians and maybe haven't had a really great living. And I have friends that are brilliant musicians and they are loaded, you know, like they are just enjoying like a totally different lifestyle than than most people can imagine. Right. And, man, so many times I'm like, man, those guys, they have such great soft skills. You know, it's like they are so fun to hang out with. And I'm like, okay, take any business. Like, if you can be the dentist that everybody's like, man, I get to go to the dentist today.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're going to have like, I mean, because who says that, right? Like, yes, I got a dentist appointment, man. I'm going to go see
my cavity fixed, you know?
Yeah. Or in your guys' business, it's like, man, this is going to be a great day. At 2:00, I get to go talk to my wealth managers, man. This is like, you know, like this is going to be such a great, you know, a great experience. Or I'm going to come out of this day feeling good, even if somebody has to give me some bad news, like, man, sorry, bro, you got a cavity and it's pretty bad. You're like, oh, that's cool. So like, I get to see you again in 3 weeks. Now that's a very extreme version.
You're doing that. You've got things figured out.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's that kind of thing. And Tanner, I think you're right. Like this time we've had is really kind of been a gift in a way, because I think it gives people an opportunity to slow down. You know?
So tell me this, like, of all the things you've learned, what's probably the most impactful thing, or what's the lesson you're going to take away from this? I mean, hopefully this is a once in a lifetime thing. You know, we get this COVID thing figured out and we're back to more normal, but what's the one thing you'd say, man, this is what I've learned from this experience?
Well, you know, I think there's a lot to say for just keeping a cool head, you know, I mean, and just don't panic, because when you don't panic, you can think straight, you know, and if you can think straight, you can solve problems, you know, and it goes back to like that fifth thing that I tell my students. I'm like, if you don't panic, then you can think straight. And think straight is really what you've got to do to be adaptable. And that's what we've all had to do is be adaptable. And I've been given a gift. I've got lots of downtime right now to think about what's my next project. When I emerge from this, what's the product that I'm going to sell that's going to make me different than anybody, you know, than anybody else. Like I said, I'm kind of hoping that people go, wow, there really is a difference between truly being a virtuoso, you know, in your field and then just being somebody that's highly produced.
Yeah, no, I think that point of adaptability and really taking advantage of the opportunity. I mean, it is what it is. We can't really do anything about it, right? We just have to say, okay, you know, I'm going to have to adapt in my business, figure out how to survive, and then plan and then thrive on the other side. Because that's in the midst of the chaos, there's always opportunity. And
totally.
You know,
I mean, if you look at like just history, you know, and how it repeats itself, these are the like huge, let's just call them tragedies, usually are the catalyst for something very beautiful, right? I mean, you know, you look at what was it? The Black Plague, right? I mean, was it the Renaissance, right? I mean, follows those kinds of things, you know, like something horrible happens. People are like, okay, there's something about the human spirit that is really, really awesome. You know, I mean, to be an artist, you really have to be an optimist. We come across dark sometimes, and you know, a lot of artists have a dark sense of humor, but really at the end of the day, like the most, you know, like strong optimists I know, they're artists, you know, and that doesn't necessarily mean musician or painter. Like you can be an artist in your business, because what it is being an artist is being creative. You know, it's solving problems. I mean, you guys can't believe, like, you know, sometimes people think, man, how can you bring people into the university and teach them this thing that's going to be hard to monetize and whatever. I'm like, is that really what you think I'm doing? I'm really teaching people how to do two things: be a critical thinker and to think with an abstract mind as well. Because a lot of people are critical thinkers, but not as many people are abstract thinkers. And when you put critical thinking with abstract thinking, oh my gosh, like you start to get a personality that has, like greatness. And if you look at all the icons in our world that are, have really done things, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, they're great at critical thinking, but they're also great at abstract thinking, right? And that's what studying the arts does for you. It makes you see big picture things and be able to, think about them in a different way.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, we don't want to take more of your time. We know you've got some magic to be doing there. And
got some practicing I need to do.
Yes. That's right, man. Well, good luck with that. Again, those who are watching today, hit him up on CoreyChristiansen.com, give him some love. And thanks, man. We appreciate your time.
All right. Yeah. See you guys later.
Take care.
Yeah.